B-A-R-B, B-A-R-B, bold, active, resourceful, proud.
50 plus so we've lived and learned.
Nothing can stop us now.
What respect that we all have earned.
Nothing can stop us now.
We're the ones who have built this land.
Nothing can stop us now.
Let's unite and we'll take a stand.
Nothing can stop us now.
Nothing can stop us now. Show the world that we're able and strong. Nothing can stop us now. Raise your voices and sing our song. B-A-R-B, bold, active, resourceful, proud. B-A-R-B, bold, active, resourceful, proud. Yeah.
First of all, without further ado, if somebody can hand me a rake, scalpel, 150 milligram cc's, beep, 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 stat. All right, so we're gonna start to get stuff together right here.
Did we get a special rate?
Huh?
Or did we get a special rate?
Actually, this has some years on it. As you can tell, I've worked very assiduously with it. That's why it's all bent and crooked. Because I've had days where, like, I'm pulling, I'm like pulling so hard. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, drive them horses, ah. You know, and I put them all together. So basically, you can get this. This is actually quite inexpensive considering that it opens and closes, which is already very technological. I think you can get this for about $20-something. I know it's like the cheapest thing I've ever seen in my life in Barbados at Carter's. Huh? Carter's and Do It Best. Yeah, right? So what we're gonna do now, we're already starting. Right? So anybody wants to help, just gather around now and just look around between here and let's say not past this, not this tree right behind us, but maybe that second one. So let's spread out and start bringing any branches, twigs, leaves, trimmings, anything. Oh, that's slick. Right where you're sitting, okay? Yeah, put it there. Put it there. Just throw it over there.
Georgia was going to show you the natural how it actually is. Not.
Yeah. I'm actually going to pull some of that and bring that here. Yeah.
I'll show them how that's going.
All right.
My bundle of sticks. Bundle of
David.
sticks. Oregon. Bundle of sticks.
Yeah. I'm going to try and put these as high and stacked as terribly as possible. No, we're not going to start with those yet.
Oh.
Although that's really nice because you're going to take me to phase 2 now. All right.
Sticks.
More sticks.
No stones. Sticks.
Where's my rake? My trusty rake. We got some more sticks for us?
Yeah.
Right.
Only then I remembered.
Brilliant. Has everybody made a little contribution to the sticks bank? Right, to the compost bank. Thank you so much. All right. So, like we said, all of this now, it's almost like, you know, those campfire days. Yeah, right?
I will say we got some interesting examples.
Can you see?
We have some interesting examples.
Can you see how you would have created some air pockets there? Yeah, it's pretty apparent now, like, you know, I mean, it's like a wind tunnel in there, basically. So that's phase 1 of just getting our big sticks down. And notice, we haven't done a big pile, huh? But this already would work for you at your home quite readily. This could already work in a household of 3 to 4 people quite easily without doing a massive, expansive pile the size of your car or your garage. You can already do it by doing like a 3 feet across. A nice little area that, if you can imagine, if we were to have some steel mesh wire, right? And we pound 4 poles in here and just wrap that chicken wire around, you also make it quite sexy, actually. Yes, ma'am, please.
Suppose that's the wall, a solid wall. Could I put the heater up against the wall? And
Is the wall made of...
How are you going to get around it?
The idea is you want to be able to get around it. However, having said this, if you go to SBRC, have any of y'all taken a visit to SBRC?
Yeah.
So you would know that in there, they have some compost stations which are actually wall. Well, no, that is an industrial site. Right? The idea is if you have a garden or expanse of space, you can put this under any tree, close to the hedge. You want to be able to get around it, so you know you want to be able to inspect your pile. But there's nothing wrong with putting it up against a wall per se.
But one side of the wall and the other 3 sides would be your wire.
Right. Well, which is what I'm going to do with when I bring in that slats of wood to show you. And we want to put it here because what I'm going to do for here, seeing that y'all are going to be here constantly, and I'll come back and visit and we'll be friends and everything. You'll chat and WhatsApp me and stuff like, yeah. Is that we're also going to put a little something here so that when people pass, what they see, instead of that, they'll see this. Looks a lot neater, nicer. I brought along my trusty drill. I have from Phil some nice drywall screws just to show how easy this whole thing is to make it just look a little cute and presentable for your neighbors. Because we also have to think of that. Isn't that one of the things that kind of strikes people a little bit of unappealing as, you know, the big pile of bush, right? Instead, if you were to get some recycled wood, now I make these out of recycled wood. These are from pallets because I'm that kind of guy. You know what I mean? Like not to mention I can't afford a $500 bin from you know, Do It Best and those guys every time I set up a compost bin. I'd be broke. I'd be broke. So what we're gonna do is once we're finished, we're gonna do the same concept of setting up your wall here, right? I'm gonna do one side here, put 2 more slats on across, one across the bottom and 2 more here because I have them, I brought them along with me. And then on the side here, we'll fashion anything that we want, anything that our little hearts desire, right? The idea is that when you pass on the road, they'll see it, and then I'll come here and put a big sign here, BARP Better Life Gardening Compost Heap.
That's more like it.
Huh? Something like that, right? Make it official like and all that stuff. And then we'll take some pictures of it, and then you'll post it, and we'll post it, and you know, we'll lick some stamps and send it. And the word would get out of the projects that you're doing, and then once y'all have done all your work, all y'all are hired.
Okay.
Yeah?
Because
Okay.
they're now your ambassadors.
Because you're now my ambassadors. And as ambassadors, you get certain perks. Hint, hint. There you go. I'll talk about you in glowing form every time I hear about it. Right?
That's all?
Isn't that a proper perk?
It's not a proper perk.
Proper perk?
Yeah, but
Hey, obviously she wants my job already. Right? So that's what we're going to do. All right. So we found the site underneath the tree. We've gone, the first layer is put down some sticks, air passages, and we know why we're doing that. Now in this case, I would tell you bring some green stuff, right? But I'll tell you what. Look, oh, by the way, notice I'm touching it with my bare hands? Yes. Yeah, I'm past being icky about it. Just take a look at that if you can. What is that? Do you? That is compost already right there. Can you see? That is compost already breaking down. And then another thing that's interesting, I'm going to start to spread these little guys here. This is to show you the work of the bacteria. Oh, hello, buddy. How are you doing? No, we can't talk right now. I'll talk to you later, all right? Cheers, bye. Right. So look at this leaf. Now, fellas, don't get carried away, huh? But tell me something. Doesn't this remind you of lingerie? Doesn't it remind you of lingerie? Lace. You see? If you can, you can see right through here.
yes.
That's the bacteria at work. That's all the little fellas at work. Look, I can hold this up to the sky.
If you saw that person,
You can see it, huh?
yeah.
That's all that's going to be composted, and what you have here now, this little black stuff, boom, that's your compost.
Like this.
That's it right there. That's what we're after. Gold in them days. Yeah?
Yeah.
And we can have this everywhere where we create the microclimate to allow. So if you take a coconut shell and put it in your yard, and instead of having it up so the Ministry of Health come by, have it down. Put 2 little things in it. Take a bunch of leaves and scrunch them up inside and put it down there. Forget about it and come back 3 months later. You will find it will be nothing but this. Nothing but this. And it ain't duppies. It ain't duppy dust. It is actual little critters that have been doing all the work that whole time. Because by skinning over that coconut shell, you've provided them a living environment. The fact that you'll have that living environment that's covered over like that, whatever moisture and humidity is on the inside would have created a microclimate to provide them like a biosphere, like the earth is our biosphere, it's where we live. You strip all the air off of this planet, we'd be Mars in a minute. We'd be Mars in a country minute. Right? So the idea is you're creating microclimates in which these guys can do their work. And once they can do their work, they'll get along with it. You don't even have to get them a paycheck. They don't ask you for no pay raise. They don't say we tired. They're just getting fed. They'll be like, let's go and get that old coconut shell. Off to work today. And you don't have to worry about them. You don't have to call them nothing. So what we're gonna do now, phase 2, is whoever got rakes, there's a shovel there. I saw something that I didn't exactly like, but it happens a lot, but don't get upset, right? Tan, 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 tan. A villain here. He has been identified. Mr. Plastic is not going to break down. Here's a point of order and a point of note. There are several types of plastic, as you would know, right? Those little triangles at the bottom of a cup. You know, those red Solo cups that you have at, when you go to meetings and there's some refreshments and there's a little triangle that says 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are all different types of plastic, right? Now, the two that I'm going to talk about right now are the ones that concern me most. There's biodegradable plastic, which is, yeah, we all love biodegradable plastic. Then there's photodegradable plastic, which is not so hot. And basically that's how it does. It just gets into smaller and smaller little pieces, but it does not actually dissolve. It's not made. I know. Ma'am, I've had a meeting with some very important people addressing the fact that certain things can be imported to this island without the necessary checks. Where, don't forget, you can get if you have the manufacturing capacity, I can say that I make bags because I have a factory that makes bags, and I tell the guys, hey, put recyclable on them. Ship them across halfway around the world. They land in our shops. We're like, oh my gosh, the guy says that we have to go and get some biodegradable plastic. That don't mean that they're biodegradable. Not at all. Not at all. So you have to be able to identify the two. If at any point that you notice that you put down, I don't think I have one with me, but I'll give you a quick tip on how you can identify biodegradable plastic. I'm really sorry. If I go through my van, I probably will find one. But hey, going through my van, right?
Like a handbag.
No, yeah, it's like a handbag. You can. Give me a pound there. But what will happen is,
it's like going to a woman's handbag.
First thing to note, biodegradable bags are not shiny. It's darn near impossible to get them shiny because of what they're made of. They're made of something equivalent to like biodegradable rubber so it has a very a matte feel. So that's first thing. Then they don't crinkle like normal bags. So these are two things on which you can see and feel. You don't need to do it like a test. You don't need to bite it or anything. No tasting, please. But one thing you will notice is that they look very matte in their texture, and they're very soft. They feel almost like those gloves, some gloves that are very soft and rubbery and velvety almost. No, that's too glossy. That's too glossy. So anytime you see a plastic bag that's glossy and shiny and makes that noise, that's gonna be photodegradable like nobody's business. And you go to lift that thing up after you put that bag outside for a couple of days, if it lasts a week or two, you go to lift it. I hope you're ready for a cleanup. Because it's not going to hang with you. Why is this a wet layer, George? Oh, you can feel the heat. And this is not heat, ambiental heat, because these leaves are not that hot. But see this here? What did I just touch? The process has begun. Now you're going to see some white stuff there that's actually not plastic. That is our other friend, fungi.
Enrique introduced me. That's the most.
Yes.
All right, so you would have seen those, right? So they too play an important part in the natural cycle in the ecosystem. There's a research documentary maker who did he put some videos out in the forest, I think of Guyana and some other places, in like this little part that no one basically ever puts a foot there. You have to go down a ravine that's like 300 something feet to go down there. And he went down there and put some cameras on.
Time lapse.
Time lapse. Oh, wow. And fungi have very short lifespans. So the same story I was telling you earlier about the formation of Barbados and every other landmass with soils is the fact that they come up, they die, have a quick life cycle, go down, and they're completely reabsorbed by the bacteria, by the enzymes, by the creatures, the insects, and everything that, and, anything but pesticides and chemicals. And yes, ma'am. And
I've seen that in my compost.
Sorry, but I
oh no, that's all right. Don't know that will not be composted. So basically, what will happen with your leaves is this. Now here's a little number for you. Every leaf by weight is 5% nitrogen. So if this weighs, 5 grams, right?
Okay.
A portion of it, 5% of every leaf. All these neem leaves that you see above your head right now, if we to take that and harvest 300 pounds of leaves, 5% of that is pure nitrogen, which is when you learn and talk with John and you talk to Erica about farming, your soils need nitrogen, plants need nitrogen. But however, here's where I come into the discussion, is that plants cannot readily take up nitrogen out of the soil. That's why we have bacteria, you see? And the bacteria coats the roots of all plants, and they act as an intermediary in their bacterial life cycles as they're coated onto the plant by its root system, and that is how plants take in nitrogen, right? So that's why bacteria is so important within the soil, right? There's something called humus, which is the active element. It's kind of a fill-all world. Like we say people are tall, short, all different ages and stuff, but we say people, we're human beings, we're people. But when we talk about humus, we're talking about basically an all-inclusive term of what is the microbes, the bacteria, the fungi that inhabit the soils, healthy soils. So this is really good, because what you do now is just drive a stake behind here. Just move this, guys. Move this, yeah, lift it.
Careful. The hammer tiny and light.
That's right.
I have a heavy hammer I'll give to you.
Right? Yeah. All right then.
20.
Talk to him, please. Right? So what we'll do is, we'll have something like this now. Huh?
You want another reverse?
No, I also have some wire in my van that as soon as, so this stuff here, as you can see, is going to push up against here and bring a lot of the action. Right? All right. There we go. So that's a back into it.
No.
Just put it on top, because I might need it back again. All right. So this is our compost pile. Now we only have 2 sides. Now what we'd look to do, we discuss, some of us are not here, about the idea of getting pallets. Some of y'all may know somebody that has a truck, or you may want to go by the supermarket, or you may see somebody, get 3 pallets, put them up to the side, drive a stake in the ground. The weight of the stuff that you're putting in here is going to be, your site is going to keep it together, right? You can do something as simple as driving a screw here, right, and get a little piece of wire and wrapping it around this wire, and in the same pallet you have here, you drive a screw in that, and you drive a wire from here. So when it's done, when your compost is cooked, or you want to get at it, so you've made it sit in an area, so you've increased the sweet spot, like a good cricket bat or the tennis racket that has a sweet spot where the conditions are just right, like Earth, We're not too cold, we're not, the Goldilocks conditions that created Earth are the same Goldilocks conditions that you're trying to create for compost, right? So when you shore up the side, you're also protecting it from too much wind, which we'll call moisture loss. We want air passage so that it can breathe. But we don't want so much wind now that it creates dryness within the pile. And it's all fun and games now, we're in the rainy season. But see, in a few months when it gets to dry season, although I have heard and talking to a few friends and people in the know, you have a situation where maybe this year's dry season may not be as dry. I don't, you don't want to put too much faith in these things, but maybe. But the idea is, we can't take rain for granted, but when we have a job to do as in allowing the compost to build up properly. Now I'm gonna add, so this is our brown or green. Anybody wants an action and want to feel up in here a little bit, because I can go and get some more. I can ask you to get some more compost material along there and bring that and help me store up here. Get your gloves on and get some of that material from there, and let's say once again up to that second tree, and we'll see you back here in 35 seconds or a minute. Put it inside of here.
So what happened there?
Huh? And this is my other material I'm going to add there on the very top. I brought some of the big leaves, and I'll show you some stuff that's in various stages of composition, which I'm going to add to that pile, which is also going to help that pile break down some more for us.
This is lovely.
Oh, because you don't forget. Yeah, but that's why now. Yep, get that stuff in there. Get that stuff in there, folks. No holding back. That's all right. No holding back. No holes barred. Oh, that's brilliant stuff you're getting there. Brilliant stuff. Yep, keep going, keep going. All of this stuff we can get. Oh, thank you. Yep, no, that is not compost, sorry.
So we've lived and learned.
Nothing can stop us now.
What respect that we all have earned.
Nothing can stop us now.
We're the ones who have built this land.
Nothing can stop us now.
Let's unite and we'll take a stand.
Nothing can stop us now.
Nothing can stop us now. Show the world that we're able and strong. Nothing can stop us now. Raise your voices and sing our song. B-A-R-P, bold, active, resourceful, proud. B-A-R-P, bold, active, resourceful, proud. Yeah.
So what we've done here, we've shored up. You've done a great job here of introducing lots of material. Now, we haven't added green material like you all said. Well, in the thing the other day you showed us, you said nitrogen is green. Nitrogen is freshly cut stuff. It is your table scraps, is your food. All that is considered as nitrogen. But overall, what we're looking to do is creating a microclimate condition for the pill bugs. I noticed a whole bunch of you looked over here and you saw a bunch of pill bugs came out, were underneath there the whole time. They were listening to us. Imagine they're all around, and while you're doing your thing every day, you don't pay attention. We're like, think about it this way. I used to be a big fan of mythology. You know, you talk about, you know, when you see like, you know, in Mount Olympus, and in Mount Olympus they would look down on us and see us as we walked around. Same story. Them little fellas going to work, they do their things, they have their wives, their 3,000 kids. You know, imagine you're an insect, you got like, you know, a bunch of larvae. Like, honey, how's it going? It's like, ooh, I've been here with these 3,000 kids. You know, with all the poopas. And they go through their life cycle and their work. And this is their work. They break down all of this for us as dictated by Mother Nature, which I think is something that we can all appreciate, yes? I mean, imagine if you had to chew all this stuff and turn it into something. At least there's somebody else in Mother Nature do it. And no, we don't want to put, you know, pesticides and stuff on them. We have some dried grass, but all of this stuff is breaking down. We've seen examples. And by the time you see this, and this will happen already with... Yes. Because all of that is a microclimate along there pushed up against that fence and the rain. And don't forget, a dry leaf is only dry because the sun hit it. Because it's lost its moisture as soon as cut off from the source of nutrition, which is the tree. However, it's going to go down to this, but it's going to become a sponge. Once it's dry like this, who's ever seen a piece of wood come up from the beach? It's soaked. It is soaked. And that's the same thing. Rainwater, once it lands on this sort of material, it soaks it up. So then, like that lace example that I gave you before, once that piece of dead leaf, I'm still trying to find a really nice, dry, crispy one. I'm not going to chew it in front of you guys because it'll make y'all gag. But yeah, this is kind of, noise test. Yeah, that's crunchy enough. Once this leaf gets wet, and then it gets covered by another leaf, then it gets covered. So basically, this leaf once upon a time was a dry leaf, and he got covered by this guy, and by that guy, and by this guy, and then they cut the grass and they put that on top. Guess what? Microclimate. I dare you, take a bottle stopper, something so big, right? Take it outside in your yard, put 2 little pieces of this underneath it, and just leave it anywhere. Leave it anywhere. I triple, quadruple dare you. Leave it anywhere. And the same stuff is going to occur. Because underneath there is a microclimate. The same thing with half-cut coconut shells, all that stuff, right? So now we have some of this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I bring you to my daily job.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do I have to wait until all of this breaks down before I use this until I pull from the bottom?
Yes. Now, this is the thing. You add new material at the top, which kind of makes sense. I mean, I'm not going to ask anybody to have, the wherewithal to just go like, the guy said I got to. No. Anybody would tell you in the compost business, you put in at the top, you pull out from the bottom. Sure. You pull out at the top, because you remember the sweet spot is somewhere all down in here now. Remember when we first started, we put the sticks at the bottom? Excuse me if I'm talking really fast. I'm trying to make a time trial here. So what's going to happen is, you're creating the conditions in here. You're creating the sweet spot in here. In a few weeks' time when you pass, you're going to notice it's quite warm in here. Why? The temperature is going to rise because all of a sudden, the conditions are perfect. So it's just like, when you build a new tenantry and everybody move in from the country, we get in there and move in. And they move in and they do all the breakdown. They go to work every day. They create what they need to do. And you're going to notice that in here it's going to get very, very hot. Very, very warm. And it's going to peak. And if you leave it long and don't add anything to the pile, like any city that goes into decay, New York in the 70s, it goes up and then back down. But you got to keep adding. So the more you keep adding, you pull from the bottom. I had some more questions in the back there that were asked during the break.
Gray water.
Gray water. I'm glad you asked that question, sir. This segment was not pre-organized. What will happen is, now it's not a problem. But when you talk about problems when no one expects them, they call you the boy who cried wolf. Instead, when you're the person that sees the problem, I don't know why I did this, but sometimes I have lapses of concentration. It's called me being me. So, what will happen is with gray water, pardon? I have 2 hands. There you go. I got it. Right. Bam!
That's what I said.
No, it wasn't quite working out to do that. That's why.
If you twirl it,
there we go.
it goes back stiff. It goes stiff.
Oh.
If you tie a bag and then you twirl it in,
What dark magic is
and
this?
then you shove it.
What manner of magic is this?
It's awesome.
So, yep. So, gray water. Gray water in the dry season. Oh, you don't want to look in there just yet. In the dry season, the gray water discussion is this. If you have, how many of y'all guys have from your kitchen sink out through your house, goes out into just a little pipe, little 2-inch pipe, just the water exhaust, whatever you call that thing.
Kitchen soak away.
The kitchen soak away. How many people have that?
Every house has that. Yeah.
She says every house, so that means all you're in trouble for not putting up with hands.
We have it. I have it, but
Okay.
I also have an intersection where I could take off a knob and get that water whenever.
Bam!
From the washing machine.
And that water you're getting is called gray water. Look it up. Now, whether it's gray, G-R-E or G-R-A, the idea is gray water. Now, we all know some gray, don't we? Yeah. She's like, no.
Mine comes out of the bottle.
Aha! There we go. I knew I was going to get someone on that joke. But yeah, so gray water is water after it's been through our usage. And if you use non-phosphate soaps, you can reuse that water for your plants. okay? That water is perfect. You can plant right there. But one of the reasons I tell you about grey water is that in the dry season, we know that moisture and water is one of the elements that we want to add to a compost pile. So what we want to do is capture some of that water. The same way I'm going to invite you to use your kitchen scraps to add to your pile. I'm going to invite you to capture some of your grey water from time to time, especially in the dry season. Did I just say dry season? No, I mean dry season. Dr. Jerry would be so happy though. He came up. I gave him props. So what would happen there is that you can use some of that grey water to your compost, right? To help get some of these crispy things so they're not so much a fire hazard and the bacteria will now come in. Now this is my day job. I go around with this nice fancy shirt called Live Earth. Yes, that is a product plug. Well, in this case, a service plug. And I go to Organic Cafe, and they have stuff like this. Look how nice and moist this is. You know how I can tell it's moist? Because it's just kind of breaking apart in my hands, right? And I do stuff like this. Now, the reason I'm putting this on photographic evidence is so that when we come back in a few weeks, right? Because we are going to be working together a few times. We're going to see that we're not going to find this bad boy. Where it's up like this, there might be compost in there, and where it's up like that, there might be compost underneath there, because we're helping to create microclimates. There's all kinds of bacteria and goopy, swappy, smelly stuff in here. All of the vegetables kind, so we haven't even gotten into bringing your chicken bones yet, but that will be, you know, advanced class, you know, senior layer. Yes, ma'am?
How do you know if you're using non-phosphate soup?
It says so, pardon?
Really bone that you put in your pocket still in it?
It might still be in my pocket. Wait. Should I be concerned, madam, that you asked me about the bone in my pocket? Hey. You just hear things, yes? Come out things, as they say, Monica. Come out things. She keeping track. She watching me. You're watching me. So all of this stuff here, right? So you see it's kind of, you can tell it's wet and moist, right? You can see how easy I'm tearing it apart. I'm just doing my hands like this and it's breaking apart. So all this stuff is what? Paper, but it's gonna fall. Oh, the non-phosphate soaps. Because it's been discovered that all those things pump out to sea and they're not very good for us, they have noticed the industries of, you know, Colgate and what is it, Johnson & Johnson and Procter & Gamble, all these people that make these. So they've actually helping us and meeting us halfway there. They're making the soaps without those elements and those chemicals. The juicer, right? So I collected this stuff yesterday. So it's already starting to warm up because, as we know, there's bacteria over everything, right? So we're gonna put some of that stuff in there. And this is gonna be my green layer. And yes, I know some very observant people are gonna say, well, George, that was not green. It was orange and red, but that's because that was beets and carrots. I have no choice in what I get. So I'm also gonna put some banana peels, some eggs. Oh look, there's an egg that made it, like a real egg, but I'm gonna do it, yeah! All right, we're gonna put that in there. No, it is said that like citric acid and stuff like that is not good for earthworms. Trust me, earthworms know better, so they're not gonna come around here, and all it is, it's a nitrogen source. So I'm gonna squeeze out that juice and get it all in there. Now, yes, I'm very touchy-feely, ladies, as you can tell. Here's a piece of bread. I'm gonna put that in there as well. And that's a bit dry, but the bread has a bit of moisture to it because it's been in here. I have some more broken eggshell and some more of this stuff, and I'm gonna mix it in. Now, you're taking all pictures of this stuff, right? Because when we come back and we check this here in 2 weeks, I bet y'all ain't gonna see none of that. I'm telling you, boy, if you ever do me wrong, I'm composting. Dun, 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 dun. Because you never find the evidence on me. Because what you need to do is take all of this stuff, right? And mix it in. And now can I ask you a favor? Get me one last bit of dried leaves. And we're gonna put it on top of here. And if anybody, I pray to goodness, I have a old newspaper in my car. And we're gonna take an old newspaper.
What about the moisture? Is that moist enough?
All of this is moisture. And what all it's gonna do too is gonna attract and invite a lot of millipedes. Centipede? No, about one or two. Right?
Again?
Yes, ma'am.
He's on the way. I used to just bring up the kitchen compost and throw it on top of the
Yeah.
and then
Now I mix it in because I'm cool like that. Right? So So now when you all cover it like that, when you all cover it over like this, oh, I even got some juice in here. Yes, ma'am, just throw it on there. Oops, not that.
Got shiny paper there.
Shiny paper not necessary. You got some more of this. Keep coming, keep coming. Now, you notice I didn't come over here with a measuring tape and say, well, it's all approximative, and I trust your eye. You will know how much material you can add in. So I will never bring a whole bag of this and three dry brown leaves, because we all know it's gonna smell. But what?
Look back here, man, look.
Millions of pills. Well, they're gonna gravitate. Oh, look. Oh, how could I do that? Look, lettuce. There you go. Green. I officially added some green. Thank you, Jesus. Amen. There's green, so you can do the word association to green, nitrogen, and compost pile. So I'm gonna take this little aid here. How are we doing?
Almost 12.
12 o'clock.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, 12 o'clock.
All right, so now, last but not least, this is from my own personal pile, which doesn't look like much to you, but is a lot to me.
Number of bugs.
All right, so last thing I'm gonna do here is the last bit of green that has been breaking down and has some moisture in it. For those of you who are downwind, you can smell a bit of moisture. That rainy, you know that rainy water smell? All right, thank you.
So what you call green is like almost like freshly cut.
Freshly cut lawn, your food scraps. And then in lieu of having a newspaper, of not having a newspaper, bam! Oh, this I wanted to show you. Now they say that this stuff is very hard to break down, right? Once again, look at how it's a bit harder or tougher, but Mother Nature will consume this as well, right? So you don't have to think that, well, you can compost this, but you can compost those things and not this stuff. Look at that compost happening right there. Why? Because between this leaf overlapping with that leaf, you have created, there's a microclimate. And everywhere where you create a microclimate, Mother Nature is going to do her work, right? Her friends and your co-workers are going to do theirs, right? So it's all right there. And now, so we're going to add these in absence of our newspaper. I'm going to skin this over right now.
And out.
Over and out. And it's on to you guys. Thank you. To carry this on, to call me. Anytime you need a hand, just like the song, you just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll compost it.
I love that one.
'Cause you're my friends.
Composting.
We don't have winter or fall, but all you got to do is call, and we'll compost it. Yes, we will. Oh, you go ahead. I got tons of tunes like that. I got tons of tunes. Right? So this stuff here, once again, more composting here. And they tell you that this stuff is impossible. Oh, it takes so long. Well, guess what? We got time. We got time. You're not the one having to chew it.
He's on my side.
Time.
Dedicated.
We did the bottom. Air, twigs, sticks. You notice I didn't put any twigs and sticks much after that. Then we put a layer of the mulchy leaves, which you can find. I mean, we all have situations like this all around our yard, our neighbor's yard, just around the street. And we've got some of those leaves, which they may not be fully green and crispy, but that's good because they already have some moisture. They've already started breaking down. You add some of those, which then starts to create that pocket. And then you layer some stuff on top. And then I put the food scraps on a little bit higher up. Right? And then I cover them over again. And you get something about this tall, about this wide, but you can increase this and magnify this. If you wanted to do this from here to that tree, ma'am, where you're sitting, that's easy, you could. It all depends on how much material you have. But you know, one thing you're not going to do is take that material and lay it out flat and spread it. I was like, well, I had it all flat and laid out, so I thought I was going to leave it there. No! What's going to happen is you're going to get a fire hazard. Or you're going to get some other thing where it's going to break down. Lay down, yeah, it's all right. You can do a little breakdown, but you know, not ready to write home about. Like, don't call me. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, George, I laid it out on my lawn and it's breaking. I was like, all right, cool. When you pile it up and stack it up, you're creating the microclimate environment that is perfect for the for all the organisms to move in, to increase the microbial activity, and they will do the breaking down. Just think, you don't have to chew this yourself.
So you don't need any water there at all?
We're not going to use water. Why? Because we added lots of rich stuff. We added stuff like this that was all wet and soaked. I mean, the reason that is black is because, you know, that's been covered with water, and it's biodegrading as we speak. So you don't need to dry. I mean, we have to also be a little bit smart on how we do things, right? So that's what we're going to do. And one of the things that you'll come to understand is that, you know, you'll make some mistakes. You know, sometimes it'll be like I said in the troubleshooting. If it's too dry, you add a little water. If it's too smelly, you probably need to add some dry leaves to cover that smell for you. If it's a little bit too wet, you add some dry leaves again. It's just, so it's always about a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of Monica by my side. You know what I mean? And we just need to do that. And the major part of what happens to be breaking down, we'll do it, and then you'll see as time goes on, you get a little better sense of like, boy, this compost pile looking a little dry on this side. I'm gonna put these in here with the wet stuff. And then, you know, you'll be adding some stuff. When you notice that, you know, you had a big party, you invited all your friends over, and you had, you know, food leftovers for 30 people, you're probably gonna need about some extra dry leaves to put on top of that. You'll learn these things by doing them, not about reading about them per se. It's about in doing that you really get a feel for what you're doing. And then, most importantly, when you see the results. So this pile will start high like this. We'll come back in a few weeks. It'll be here.
When do we start reaping? I hear you say a few weeks.
I will say 6 to 8 weeks. We'll be able to dig into it. All right, and we'll dig right down through the middle. We'll probably do like a cross section of this. So I just prepared this, so I'm gonna put a little something on this, on the windward side. I'm gonna put this in the ground. I'm gonna leave you in 2 minutes, but I'll finish up this part here. Right, so that's what's gonna happen. Everything, all those sticks at the bottom, they're gonna absorb moisture, the microbes, the bacteria, they're gonna break them down to the point where they too are gonna not pulverize, they're gonna turn to compost. Right? And there you have it.
Sing our song. BARP, bold, active, resourceful, proud.